All right, so this is Stephen Butler, and I'm going to give you guys a quick report that might actually be some good news. So I'm going to go to the Zodiac Killer site. A couple of days ago, this solution for the Z32 was placed on the Zodiac Killer subreddit by some person called Latchy Philip Ryan. That's code for Friar David Collins, right? Who's Albert Lee Terry Jr. And he's trying to communicate with the kidnapper by using an old Zodiac code that he created. And with the highlighted colors, he's just repurposing it. I did a video on that, but this is what's important. So all that happened 3 days ago. But on the second one, where we said, where can I find a handwriting expert? He's reaching out and giving an opportunity for communication back and forth with the kidnapper if he finds this. And so the first person said the yellow pages always works for me. They downvoted him because he's not in on it. He doesn't know what's going on. And then this person, capable drop, right? So that's one of the people that's working this thing. That might be the kidnapper himself. Be interesting to see the reaction when you mention the Zodiac Killer. I don't think you would be there long. Who is your suspect? And so they're starting the conversation. So Albert Lee, as Friar David Collins says, the suspect is Paul Dorr. The reason he's so interesting is that nothing has surfaced that rules him out like every other suspect. As far as I know, his handwriting hasn't been compared yet. So he's saying that I don't think anybody's identified you exactly. I don't see anything out there where you should be completely worried right now. So just hang in there. So then somebody says, didn't Paul Dorr make cuckoo clocks for some of the finest resorts and lodges in the Pacific Northwest ? So that's code. So it's CC, right? Closed caption, DPD. So you read backwards with all the capitalized letters, right? The question mark with WMP, he's basically saying, where do I put Nancy? So there's a chance she's still alive. There's a chance she's still alive. Where do I put Nancy? DPD is a military code for underwater reconnaissance equipment. So he's trying to figure out, what do I do? Do I dump her in the ocean? Where do I put her? So there's a good chance she's still alive because that was 13 hours ago. All right. And then where it says Dorr likes comics, role-playing games with dice and cards, LOTHR. So RH is what Albert Lee Terry Jr. used as his code in the Cherie Jo Bates murder. It's on the palm. It's all over. It's in the hidden codes that he put in the confession letters. So it's RH2L. So that's probably the kidnapper, whoever L is, right? And then he says, if you're into RH2, the book in history, allegory of World War I, World War II, he's giving him clues to do something. Which character would you be? So Sarum, Orcs, whatever. He's telling him, disguise yourself. Change your look, right? That's what he's going. So it's RH2 to L. So that's Albert Lee Terry Jr., headquarters to the kidnapper, right? Which one of these things should I change to? Either they're talking about changing his physical looks or changing the code change. There's something in there that they're trying to figure out, and they're using old Zodiac communications to set this up. So maybe those are code words for certain protocol in Zodiac communications or old military protocol that they know that gives you code messages. So they're trying to figure out a new way to talk because we discovered what they were doing online with the cards, right? He says, isn't that not exactly like the Zodiac? He obviously was crafting a persona and was thus role-playing. So they're talking about changing what he looks like. He says he has a lot of personas he can change and does, for instance, with Scorpion, possibly the Santa Rosa hitchhiker murders and so on and so forth. And then it says, any thoughts on LOTR? So that's back to RH, right? So they're closing out the communication. This is like radio calls, like over. This is exactly what they do in Vietnam. This is just what they do on the radio. This is what they do in the military And that's where these people learned all this stuff. So I'm telling you all this is because all this just happened in the last 20 hours. And that PNW question mark means, where do I put Nancy? So she could possibly still be alive, because if she was dead, she'd be decaying. And I don't know how long you can drive around with a decaying body before somebody figures out what's going on. So that's what's going on here. At least in the last 13 hours, there's talk between Albert Lee Terry Jr., who is Friar David Collins, and the kidnapper about what to do with Nancy. So there's still hope. Keep working.